Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Patricia once again, and I'm a mentor, Christian life and personal development coach. And the last time we started a conversation on wealth creation, and I was able to share quite a few things. And I remember saying that as long as you are Christian, it matters to God that you are wealthy. It matters to God that you achieve financial freedom, because we can only serve God well if we are financially free. And so I started this journey, and I remember inviting you to join me on the journey on financial literacy, but also on building wealth. Because first and foremost, I was able to highlight that the world understands wealth differently and God understands wealth differently. Though in there are universal principles that apply to the creation of wealth, that once you put those principles into practice, you should be able to become wealthy or truly rich. They are not all the same, like the biblical principles and the world, but there are those that are the same. And I remember saying that hard work and diligence are one of those. And I used a portion of scripture where God challenges us really to be diligent, to be diligent even with small, with very little, so that He can trust us with much, to be diligent in another man's business or with someone else's property, so that God can trust us with our own. And I was able to list practical wisdoms for successful people. And today we are going to continue. Basically, it's more of a conversation. I've been reading a lot on financial literacy and wealth creation, God's way. I want to learn so much what principles God has laid down in His Word that we as Christians can apply to become truly wealthy, to serve God in that place, of rest. And so today we are going to continue, and I'm going to be sharing again from the notes I've been taking and what I'm applying in my life. And let's continue, and let's get on this journey of becoming truly wealthy. I'm going to kick off today's session with a note that we all need to take, especially if you are a Christian. We've got to note that if money does not truly serve the kingdom, then it perverts, spoils, and destroys its owners. And here the point is, it's going to become your master. Remember, I was saying that it's a terrible master, but a good servant. So if you don't use your money to serve, if you don't command it to serve you, and as it's serving you, you are abounding in good works, good charitable works, you are supporting the gospel, you are doing all those good charitable works that we are called to do. If you don't do that with your money, guess what you're going to use it for? It's going to pervert you. You will end up, and I see it a lot, and I used to be there, when I was still in the world, where you do things with money, and either you're just feeding your ego, you're just out there to satisfy your desires, and at the end, really, it's all vanity. Like, you are not storing up for yourself wealth in heaven, but here on earth. Therefore, our motives must be right when it comes to gaining money and riches. This implies that we've got to examine our hearts, examine our hearts, that one day, or if there is a time where we have no cars, we have no houses, we have no all these things that define wealth, would we still be happy, or would life be really miserable? If your life if you imagine your life truly miserable because you don't have cars, houses, and all these other things that define wealth, then trust me, according to God, you've not passed the test. That's why in Matthew chapter 19, verse 21, Jesus told the rich young man to sell all his possessions before he could inherit the kingdom of God. And the young man failed the test because he was so attached to his wealth, he could not imagine life without his material wealth. You are not free until you can imagine yourself happy without all these material blessings. If you cannot, then you do not really own those things. They own you. Another thing that we need to take note, and I've been talking to myself about that, is the need to shun fear if we are really going to be successful. So what do I mean? Don't let fear be an option. Do not be afraid of anything, including fear of failure itself. Because come to think of it, it's not failure itself, but the fear of failure that is the biggest obstacle to any path to success. Besides, failure makes us stronger, more flexible, and more decisive. But failure paralyzes one's thoughts and actions and hinders us from doing the things required to attain success. As you embark on this journey to build wealth and become successful, please ensure that you deal with the spirit of fear. Deal with the spirit of fear because it's a demonic spirit, It's a demonic spirit that torments you and it's going to hinder you from blossoming and becoming that which God has called you to do, or to become successful, And it's amazing how I've learned that indeed if you're going to walk this Christian journey and walk it boldly, then I've used the word guts to need a lot of guts because on this journey it's sometimes you've got to fight, sometimes you've got to take it by force, So don't let fear be an obstacle. Don't let it be an obstacle. Then also I've learned that it's not how much you earn really. It's not how much you earn. More oftentimes when we are not saving money, we have all excuses why we are not saving. You can say my income is very small, but it's not how much you earn. At the end of the day, it's how much or how little you spend. It's how much or how little you spend. And I realized that I had a spending issue because I was someone who I would go to buy something, like how you leave home, I've gone to buy A, B, C, and then I would come back with things that were not even on my list, I would come back with things that I didn't even need, So as I am equipping myself with knowledge on finances, I've learned actually, and it's a discipline that I don't just buy anything. I plan for it. If I'm going to buy something, I have to plan for it. It has to be within my plans. It has to be within my budget, because oftentimes when you go shopping, really, I've learned, especially if you're downtown, I just look and I'm like, okay, because I used to be that person one day, like people buy things they don't need. They buy things they don't need, but if you're going to become successful, you are going to learn to account for every penny that leaves your pocket. Like you should be able to account for it, especially if your salary is still small, because you have to save and then you need to invest. So it's very important that no matter how much you earn, you save something. And how can you save? By watching your spending or your expenditure. Let me give an example. If you receive 1,000,000 shillings and then you spend that much, you are never going to become really wealthy. Yeah, because when it comes to wealth creation, saving and investment are very, very important. Yeah, so you've got to find ways to save some money at the end of the month. To the extent that you are able to reduce your expenses, you will be able to receive God as well. There is a Bible verse that talks about godliness with contentment. I love it because by contentment it means a deep gratitude and appreciation to God for where we currently are and with what we currently have. The ability to be content is a quality that should be valued more than gold. Try as much as you can to cultivate this quality, being content in all situations, because whoever has mastered the art of contentment in all circumstances, such a person can be already considered wealthy. Because if you pursue wealth before building that sense of gratitude and appreciation to God for wherever you are, whatever you have, then guess what? You'll discover like whichever amount of money you will amass, it won't be enough. It will never be enough. And you realize that if you are in that category, then you can easily compromise for money. Like you are willing to do anything for money. So it's very important that you build contentment even before you start pursuing wealth. I also think that it's in the nature of God that if He says that we are not content with what we have, really, if He says that we are not happy with what we have, then He definitely will not entrust us with more. Not happy or content with $1 million. Even when you make 50 million, you may not be happy, and that's the whole logic behind the love of money. The more money you have, the more money you want. Yeah, you never feel like it's enough until you cultivate this quality of contentment. As Christians, we need to train ourselves to be righteous and become prosperous in our souls before seeking financial prosperity. Yeah, and I think this has a lot to do with building godly principles and values. Yeah, so that one day when you wake up in that office and you have a budget of I don't know how many dollars, that you will not compromise. It's so important to God that you build that godly character of integrity. Then also I've learned that it's not how much you earn, really. It's not how much you earn. No, oftentimes when we are not saving money, we have all excuses why we are not saving. You can say my income is very small, but it's not how much you earn. At the end of the day, it's how much or how little you spend. It's how much or how little you spend. And I realized I had a spending issue because I was someone who would go to buy something, like how you leave home, I've gone to buy A, B, C, and then I would come back with things that were not even on my list, I would come back with things that I didn't even need, So as I am equipping myself with knowledge on finances, I've learned actually, and it's a discipline, that I don't just buy anything. I plan for it. If I could buy something, I have to plan for has to be within my plans, has to be within my budget, you know, because oftentimes when you go shopping really on the plan, especially if you're downtown, you know, I just look around like, okay, because I used to be that person one day, like people buy things they don't need, they buy things they don't need, but you know, if you're going to become successful, you are going to learn to account for every penny that leaves your pocket. Like you should be able to account for it, you know, especially if your salary is still small, because you have to save, and then you need to invest. So it's very important that no matter how much you earn, you save something. And how can you save? By watching your spending or your expenditure. The other thing we need to note is that money will destroy. Money can destroy if that is all you're seeking. It will destroy you. Yet it's supposed to bless and not kill its possessor. If our sole purpose is to pursue money, then it will destroy us. We then protect ourselves from pursuing money at all costs. And I think the trick is to view money as any other tool. You know, the way you see a car, that it's a tool that one uses to get from one place to another, it should be the same way that we view money. It's also a tool. Besides, it's a piece of paper, you know, and you've got to reach a point where even when you see huge sums of money, like you don't get excited, you know, you don't get excited. So guess what? There are people who cannot control themselves when they see huge sums of money. If you try to give an unprepared person a lot of money, trust me, it will destroy them. And for many of us, it doesn't take God anything to bless us with money, but in His wisdom, He simply sees that we are not ready. And God cannot entrust you, cannot give you something that will destroy you. He's a loving Father, so God wants to bless us, but we are not ready. And He can't give us something that will destroy us. You know, so sometimes we find ourselves that we are our own, you know, we are limiting ourselves because of what we do not know. So it matters that you learn these principles, that you prepare yourself so that to heaven you are ready to be blessed financially. And trust me, you will. It will happen if you are ready. Therefore, then we need to have the right attitude if God is to trust us with money. And this means that we need to see money as a tool, as a means and not an end. Just as we use a car as a means of transportation, so is money as a means of solving some problems. If it means more to us than that, then it will become our master.